So in this video, I'm going to share with you why I exited my 7-figure business that I've been running for the past 5 years to follow the vision that God showed me while I was in the forest in northern Canada. Now, I know that sounds crazy. You're maybe thinking, why did you leave and why did you exit that amount of money? Why would you leave that much money on the table? Well, God showed me such a greater, larger vision, anything that I could possibly fathom or create with my own intellect. And he showed me such a clear vision that I had to move on it. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you why I exited the business, 2, how I tapped into the vision that God had for me, and most importantly, how you can tap into the vision that God has for you. And lastly, I'm going to share with you what I'm doing now and the vision that God showed me, and I'm going to reveal what God showed me. And so that's what I'm going to cover in this video. Now, I have some notes here, so I'm going to look back and forth. It's going to be off-the-cuff video, no crazy editing. So I'll kind of explain to you guys a little bit about why I made this decision, but let me take you back and tell you a little bit of a story. So about a month and a half ago, basically, God told me, go back to Canada and spend all of August just in nature. And I love nature. I grew up on lakes. I grew up doing that stuff. So I'm like, that's perfect time. Toronto, northern Canada, perfect time to enjoy the weather, the summer, spend time with family. So basically, I was renting a house in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, and I basically packed the house up. I put everything that I owned in storage. I sold a lot of my stuff, and I said, okay, I'm going to spend a month in nature up north. And so during this time, I was able to really tap in, and every single day I'd wake up and I would jump in the lake at like 6, 7 a.m., and then I'd go for like a 1 to 2 hour walk in nature. And there's just something about being in nature in serenity and complete tranquility that for me, it really connects me and it really expands my mind and gets my gears turning. And so it gave me a lot of clarity while I was on these walks, while I was tapping in. Then I would do like at least a 30-minute hour meditation, and I would be able to see vivid dreams. I'd be able to see vivid things in my imagination, and God started showing me and shifting things within me. But prior to when I left, one of the things that kind of happened, and I'll share with you a little bit of like how this happened, but basically over the past, I'd say 2 years, I've had like this internal conflict or feeling of out of alignment with my true purpose. And one of the things that, as entrepreneurs, and this is one of the reasons why I made the decision, because, you have this vision when you first start out, right? But as you go, your vision starts to evolve. The picture starts to become more vivid, more clear, more colorful. And so over time, I would start to see this vision. But what I would do, and because I was running the business for a long time, I had a business partner, I had a lot of people, team members that counted on me, etc. And so I would always suppress that. I would see it, there'd be glimpses of it, and I would suppress it. Because it was uncomfortable. Maybe fear of going in this other path may not work out if I'm on this already path that is already successful. And so I kept suppressing it. And I guess my mentality at that time was just go make more money and it will solve itself, meaning this internal emotional battle that was happening within me. And basically that's kind of what I did. I just kept suppressing it. But then I watched this podcast by James Hollis and Angie Huberman. James Hollis is a psychoanalyst that studied Carl Jung, Carl Jung is one of the most world-renowned psychologists and psychotherapists, psychoanalysts. And I love Carl Jung, all this stuff. And as I was watching this podcast, literally everything that he was saying was what I was going through internally. And this was a deep one. One of the things he said in the podcast, one of the questions he said that you need to ask yourself is, what does the soul want of me? What is wishing expression through me. And that was profound because as I was thinking about that, I kept seeing and feeling what was wishing this expression through me, but I didn't really get a grasp on what it was, but I knew it was there, okay? And I'll touch more on that in a second. But he continued, he said that the people we admire most throughout history lived out what the soul was asking of them. Think about that. Every single person you admire or you look up to, it could be pro athletes like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Wayne Gretzky. It could be artists and musicians like, whoever your favorite artist is. Think about athletes, think about Michael Phelps, Olympic gold medalist. Like, think about all of these Steve Jobs, these great entrepreneurs, visionaries. They all lived out what the soul was asking of them. Meaning, the soul was probably tap into the highest level of artistry, tap into the imagination, tap into the highest level of being an athlete and going into, like Kobe Bryant talks about that Mamba mentality where no one else would venture, or Michael Jordan, if you watch The Last Dance, that's a great documentary. They lived out what the soul was asking for them. And, it's a very deep, because in one of the verse in Romans chapter 1, verse 20 in the Bible, it says, everything that was made from the invisible Godhead, which is Christ, which is your imagination within you. And he says, nothing that was made wasn't made except through God. And it says that the things in which we see are just from the unseen, essentially, so that the people are without excuse. So if you think about this iPhone, that someone designed this iPhone, it was once a thought in an imagination, someone's mind, before it was brought into physical reality. So nothing that was made wasn't made except from that source within you, right? And so, as I was watching this podcast, he said that it doesn't spare you from conflict, pain, suffering, but you're fed by the purposefulness of it. Take that away, and life is pretty empty. He says it has to hurt and be painful enough, if suppressed for long enough, to pull it out of someone. And that's what happened to me. I suppressed it for long enough, and it started to become painful. I'd see this vision. I'd be like, but the pain of me not realizing this vision outweighed anything else that I was doing in this current life and reality. And so by me not doing that caused me more pain and more suffering. And he said that if what we are doing is wrong, as understood by the psyche, which is the mind, or the soul, which your soul is made of the mind, will, and emotions, then over time it begins to pathologize, or it turns into what he calls psychopathology, which means in Greek, the expression of the suffering of the soul. And when he said that, that hit me on it, that struck a chord, because it was the suffering of the soul that I was trying to put to words, and trying to, when I was talking with different people like my brother, etc., trying to explain these things, I wasn't able to put words to it, but that's basically what it was. It was the expression of the suffering, the soul. And the expression, if it's suppressed long enough, becomes depression. But when suppressed and it becomes expressed, it's pulled out of you, right? And so he also said that if what we're doing is meaningful, as understood by the psyche or the soul, it will support us even in the face of suffering, pain, sacrifice, and etc. And this exactly described what I was feeling. It was misaligned. I was feeling in that misalignment, and that I wasn't going to reach or fulfill the purpose that God had for me on this planet and this earth. And I needed to really tap in. And so while I was away for that month, I was able to really tap into this. And he also said another deep quote, which I love. He said, It's a difficult process, but necessary to express what the soul desires and have a meaningful life. He says, it's not so much about what you believe, think, feel, or even do. It's about being in service to what's inside of you wishing to be expressed. And that's extremely deep, right? If you think about that. And because most of the things that people talk about in the realm of personal development is on the realm of the soul, which is what you believe, what you think, what you feel, what you do. But this goes beyond that, which he's talking about here is into the spirit, into the realm in which God operates, in the kingdom of God, okay? And so I basically isolated myself, went off the grid, and I was able to tap into this very deep vision. And one of the things that really helped me tap into this vision was removing and eliminating any outside stimulus. Because one of the things that you'll realize, and what I've realized over the years, is that everything that you need, all the answers are already within you. And a lot of the times we seek external, we seek the outside world, and we put the burdens of our problems in the hands of others, when the problems that we have can only be solved through going and tapping in within us, within the psyche, within the spirit. And so one of the things is removing all stimulus. So removing social media, removing anything that can put an idea or something that's manufactured. And you think about it, social media and all these outlets are essentially a medium to program you, and it's propaganda, right? So especially with different platforms, they can be beneficial. I think YouTube is the best platform by far, 100%. But you remove the stimulus and you start to not use the things of this world, which are the senses: see, smell, taste, touch, hearing. Those are the 5 senses or modalities. And you remove those and you go within yourself and you start to see within you a vision through your imagination. And it is through this imagination which there is within you this passive element, which is the subconscious mind, and then there's the active element, which is the conscious mind. And the pairing of the conscious and subconscious, you can really create with and co-create with God. But in your subconscious is the passive. It's so when you go into deep trance meditation, you start to be in a dreamlike state. Boom, things that are within you are going to start to express and pull out of you, and you're going to start to see images. It might take you back to childhood. It might take you into the future, into a very vivid vision, and show you where you need to go, what you need to do, and show you and reveal certain truths about yourself that you didn't know about. So that's number one, is like removing stimulus, going within yourself, tapping in. It says in Psalm 91:1, it says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." And the secret place of the Most High. When you close your eyes, you're in the shadow of the Almighty. And so you go into the temple, which is not made with human hands, and you enter within, and you're able to communicate with God, and He's going to start showing you different visions and show you and reveal to you what you need to do. And a lot of the times, what you've been programmed or thought to believe is that you have to do this a certain way, you have to live a certain way, or you have to run your business a certain way. But what if you could have everything that your heart desires, which is pulled out of you, which the heart is the deep things within you, which is the subconscious, pulled out of you? What if you could realize all of those and live in a better, more fulfilled, abundant state of being on a daily basis, a peace and joy that makes absolutely no sense, and realize your vision and have something larger than you could even fathom? What God showed me was larger than I could even fathom myself and conjure up with my own intellect and my own conscious mind. And so that's really where you need to really tap in. And so that really brings me into what I'm doing now, because while I was in this state, while I was in and tapping in, now you don't have to go into the forest to do this. You just have to remove the stimulus, and every morning and spend at least 1 hour with God. Spend it going within yourself. Go spend it with your imagination. And people call it visualization, but it goes around above the thought, above the realm of thought when you go into the imagination, because it's the passivity, the passive element that is showing you. I'll go deeper on this stuff but I'm just bringing these because I think this will help you. And seeing these things, right? And you have to go beyond the realm of thought. But then you can use your conscious mind with your subconscious, with God, to create and co-create an even greater, larger image. That's why it says, where there are two people, or where 2 or 3 are gathered, there I am in the midst of them, right? And so in this state, you can really start to see and realize the vision that God has for you. So while I was there, I got a vision, and for a while, I feel on my spirit create a revolution. And I used to listen to a lot of Bob Marley. He's like, I'm a revolutionary, right? And so I love that. And revolution is essentially the altering or the changing of the structures, whether that's a government or social structure or even a religious structure, into a new system. And the reason why I love that is because a lot of this happened during the Renaissance era, which Renaissance in French means rebirth. And so it's really a rebirth. And so I'm starting a revolution, and I'm starting my business called Revolutionnaire, which I'm starting a revolution of millionaires with this newfound knowledge, but also tapping into and fulfilling the destiny that God has for you, and realizing the God-given vision that's deep within you, and doing it in a way where you can actually make millions of dollars doing what you love, with who you love, with doing and realizing this vision. Okay. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually going to be launching and hosting a live webinar, which you can register below. I'll drop it in the description, where I'm going to show you and actually how to make $100,000 a month in profit with this model, doing what you love and pulling out this God-given vision within you and turning it into a hyper profitable business that you absolutely love. It fires you up. It gives you the time freedom. You don't have to, slave away on sales calls. Now, I'm going to show you how to build a model where you can actually run the business, and it's giving you everything that you desire, and giving you that time and location freedom, the financial freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want to do it, with whoever you want to do it, at any time you want to do it. That is true freedom. So I'm going to show you how to build one of these businesses. I've been doing this for the past 5 years. I've been making $1 million plus a year for the past 5 years doing this exact same thing. So I'm going to show you and break down and reveal and pull back the curtain exactly how you can do this. So this is what God put on me as the true deep within me, my purpose. It goes a lot deeper, but I'll share with you on the webinar how deeper it goes and how you can actually build this model that gives you everything you want, and you're making millions of dollars doing what you love. And so I'm on a mission. I'm starting a revolution of creating millionaires and taking this higher faculties, the kingdom of heaven, and bring it here on earth so that you can birth and impact more people. You can help millions of people or thousands of people. You can have this impact and also live and fulfill the true vision and destiny which God has for your life. And so I'd love for you to join me on the webinar. You can go register below. It's going to be on Wednesday, September 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're watching this and it's already passed, then you can go in the description. There's probably some other trainings that I have there for you. But join me Wednesday, September 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm going to break this all down, and I'm going to show you can tap in and synthesize everything you have within the psyche, within the soul, within the spirit within you, and turn it into a model, a business that can actually produce at least 100K a month, and very fulfilling, gives you the time freedom. You don't have to, do all the things that you don't want to do and trade time for money, but actually the business serve you, not you serving the business. So go below. I'd love to share with you, and I'd love for you to be a part and join the revolution of becoming a millionaire. And the way that you can do that is by actually becoming a millionaire and doing it so you can give back as well to people, to other charities, churches, whatever you want as well, and actually be the impact you want in the world. So join me on the webinar, and I can't wait to share this with you. So God bless you, and may the Lord increase you more abundantly in all facets of your existence and transform you by the renewing of your mind. And so hopefully you love this video. Go hit like, subscribe, and join me on the webinar on Wednesday, September 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'll see you there. God bless.